Law enforcement across North Dakota will soon receive mobile screening devices to detect if a driver may be under the influence of drugs. Starting this fall, about 40 agencies will start training officers on how to use the device. Like a breathalyzer test, it can be administered as a screening tool if an officer suspects a driver may be on drugs. It was used in a pilot program in North Dakota from January 2022 until July 2023. Officials say the test determined at least one drug was present in 83% of the cases. The device can detect a variety of drugs, including marijuana, cocaine, amphetamines, methamphetamines, and opiates.